live from the new sports betting capital of the world.
You might be from Texas, but I'm from New Jersey.
Benny Ricciardi is here to break down the day's betting board for you.
Let's go, Jerry. Go!
Taking a first look at the day's bets, it's time for the FTN Betting Show.
Welcome to the FTN Bets Cast for Tuesday, April 26th, here at FTN Bets, sponsored by our good friends at Sleeper HQ. Sleeper is the fastest growing fantasy platform today with millions of players. And now you can win on Sleeper by playing their new over-under game. It's really easy to play. First, in any sport, you're going to choose two or more players that you like, and you're going to pick whether they're going to go over or under their listed total. So, for example, in a sport like basketball, it could be the number of rebounds, the number of points, the number of steals they're going to get on any given day. Or for a sport like baseball, it could be things like hits or strikeouts for the pitcher. Once you choose what you want to play, then you choose an amount of money that you want to enter into the contest. If your picks are correct, you could win anywhere from 2 times your money on a two-player over-under, all the way up to 20 times your money if you pick 5 players over-under and you get them all right. The main reason, though, that I really like this over-under game on Sleeper is that it's the only app where you could actually get together with all your buddies and you could all play together. It has a built-in group chat where I could see what you're playing, you could see what I'm playing, we could all see what, the guy in our group chat that won 4 days in a row is playing. And this way we could all follow along and everybody rooting together. It gets insanely fun when you get down to maybe one left and everybody's rooting for that extra rebound or those extra couple points in order for us to all cash. So stop what you guys are doing right now. Download the Sleeper app, get over to their new over-under game, have fun with your friends, and make some money. If you use promo code FTN Bets when you sign up, Sleeper will match your first deposit up to $100. So again, download Sleeper, use promo code FTN Bets, deposit $100, you'll have $200 to play with, and then you can go out and play with your friends and make some money. Terms and conditions do apply, and make sure you see Sleeper's terms and use of conditions for details. Now we're going to go on and talk a little bit about today's action and some of the plays that we can make on that Sleeper over-under game here. We have 3 games in the NBA playoffs tonight. Yesterday was a big day. We had our first team eliminated from the playoffs, and honestly, I don't know how many people would have thought this was going to be the team, but the Brooklyn Nets are going to be watching the playoffs now for the rest of the couple weeks here that we have until it gets to the end. First team moves on, Boston Celtics. We have a couple games today. Only one is an elimination game, and that's the first one that we're going to talk about between the Atlanta Hawks and the Miami Heat. It is a 3-1 series lead right now for Miami. Couple interesting injury situations in this game. Kyle Lowry is going to be out for Miami here. He has already been ruled out for this game, so we should see more of guys like maybe like a Gabe Vincent or a Caleb Martin, who are actually both listed as questionable, but I expect them both to play here today. We may even see a little bit more of Victor Oladipo. I don't know how many people might not even have realized that he is on this team as well. But those are 3 guys that I think are going to wind up seeing a little bit more time here today. But I really do think that a lot of the production is going to go to some of the guys that are already on the floor a lot, guys like a Tyler Hero or a Jimmy Butler. Those are the guys that I'm looking to have big games today on that side. For the Atlanta side, they have some injury news too. Clint Capella tried to come back last game. He's listed as questionable. He's probably going to play again here today. He played 20 minutes in his return last game. Was not the most productive 21 minutes that we've seen from Clint Capella here. He's definitely not 100%. And then the other guy who's definitely not 100% is Bogdan Bogdanovich. He had I think he had an ankle injury. Now it's an ankle and a knee injury. Again, listed as questionable. I assume he's going to try to give it a go here today, but I don't think that he's 100%. And not having Capella and not having Bogey at anywhere near 100%. I mean, listen, I think this team needed to be 100% just to compete with Miami to begin with. So not having those guys at 100% is not the most ideal thing here. As we start looking at it here today, Miami has 3 wins in this series. The 3 games that they've won, they won 2 of those games by 20 plus. The other game they won by 10. So all 3 of their wins here have been by double digits. Atlanta has 1 win in this series, and it was a 1-point game that Atlanta wound up winning when they did get their 1 win in this series. Atlanta is plus 7.5 at just about every book here today at minus 110. So if you're looking to get money down on the Hawks side, that would be the way to go. I actually don't mind laying 7.5 with the Miami Heat. You can get it slightly juiced down at minus 108 on FanDuel, which is the best price. Everywhere else in the market, it's basically sitting at that same -110 right now. Again, the 3 wins that Miami had have all been by double digits. So even 7.5 does feel like it's a little bit below that number here. You do have Clint Capella and Bogdan Bogdanovich who are going to be banged up. But then again, on the other side, you have Kyle Lowry that's banged up as well. So we got to make adjustments for both teams here. I do still think this is a good number. Did I play this Miami number? No, I actually didn't play the 7.5. I like the under in this game a little more than I like the 7.5. The under in this game is 217. You can get 217 -110 on basically every site if you want to play the over. If you want to play the under, BetMGM has that 217 juiced down to -105. So that is the best place to play it over there. As for the over-unders that we're looking at here for the sleeper game and for any of the stuff you guys want to bet in the prop market here today, there are 2 guys that are standing out to me a little bit. The first one is Deandre Hunter, over 14.5 points. We can get this at -110 on FanDuel and also at 14.5 on the sleeper app. 14, 16, 17, and 24 are the point totals that he's had this series. With the exception of the first game where he took under 10 shots, he's taken at least 13 field goal attempts in the second, third, and fourth games of the series. All 3 of those games, he had at least 16 points, which would cash for us today at over 14.5. So I like DeAndre Hunter as somebody who could put up some points here today and get us over at least 15. The other thing I like here today is going to be Jimmy Butler rebounds. So Butler is averaging over 7.5 rebounds in the series. 7.5 is his number today. And he's had double-digit rebounds in each of the last 2 games here. With all these guys that are hurt, the guys that are coming in are not as good as shooters as the guys that were in there, which is going to mean a couple more missed shots out there on the floor. Jimmy Butler is a guy that I think can wind up grabbing some of those rebounds. Like I said, he's gone over this number already in 3 or 4 games. He's had double digits with 10 rebounds in each of the last 2. We need him to go over 7.5 rebounds here today. I think that's a great number on the sleeper over under app. So that's going to be something that I'm looking at here today as well. Last thing I'll mention for this game is going to be the series prices. Again, Miami's up 3-1 here. Miami is -5,000 to close out this series. The Hawks are plus 1,600 if you think they can make a comeback and win the final 3 games here. I don't think there's any value here at this point. So, I mean, if you want to take the -5,000, be my guest. It probably cashes. You're not going to make any money on it. There's probably more risk to it than there is reward. So I'm staying away from that one. So let's move on to talk about the next game right now. The next game is Minnesota taking on Memphis. This is a very good series. It's tied up 2-2 right now. We've had some, with the exception of one game, we've had some pretty massive totals in this series. 247, 230, 237. And then there was that one game, the outlier game, where we only had 199 points there. The total in this game is sitting at 232. You can play an over at -110 pretty much everywhere with the exception of BetMGM. BetMGM, you can play an under 232.5 at -105. So that's the best price if you want to play the under there. Like I said, we've had some big totals, 247, 230, 237, and then that 199 thrown in there. 232, I think, is a really good number for this game. It most likely goes over, but I'm not going to be willing to put any money on that side of it. Let's see. The one thing that I do have a little interest in here, though, is actually the Minnesota Timberwolves plus 6.5 on BetMGM or Unibet. They're plus six, -6 is the number for Minnesota Memphis on basically every other book at -110. So if you want to get money down on the Grizzlies side, DraftKings, FanDuel, Caesars, all have this at -6, -110. I actually prefer the Minnesota side of this game, though. Listen, I think both of these teams are somewhat evenly matched. I think Memphis is slightly better, but I don't think they're massively better. I think 6.5 is what you can get plus on the Timberwolves on BetMGM. I think that's a little bit too big of a number. If this was 3.5 or 4, I would think that's probably where it should be. 6.5, I think we got at least 1.5 to 2 points of value on that. So I do like the Minnesota side of that game at plus 6.5. Let's see. As far as the over-unders go in this game, there are a couple things I'm looking at. I like Patrick Beverley over 10.5 points. He had 14 and 17 in the last 2 games. And what I really like about it is he played 34 and 37 minutes in those games. So he's been above 30 minutes the last 2 games, whereas he was under 30 minutes at 28 and 29 minutes in the first 2 games. 10.5 is not really a big number. Now, I know Beverley is not a big-time scorer, but if he's going to be out there on the floor, he'll get a steal and a layup here or there. He'll get an open, an open drive to the rim where he beats somebody. he was taking it at John Morant early in that last game. So, I wouldn't be shocked to see if he tries to do that again, maybe try to get John some foul trouble, because that would make everything a lot easier for Minnesota if they would be able to pull that off again. Another one that I like here today is going to be Karl Anthony Towns over 10.5 rebounds. He's cashed this number in 3 of the 4 games of this series so far. The other game, I think he only had 8, so he was a little bit below it. Also didn't play a ton of minutes in that game too, so that might have had something to do with it. Both of the games that he played 40 minutes in this series, he's been over 13 rebounds, let alone over 10.5. So assuming that this game stays close, which is what I am assuming here today, I think we're going to get close to 40 minutes for Cat. And if we get close to 40 minutes for Karl Anthony Towns, I think over 10.5 rebounds is a good number for him. The payouts on the sports books are not all that great, but I do like this as part of the over-under game on the Sleeper app. Next one up, John Morant over 9.5 assists. He had 8, 10, 10, and 15 assists so far this series, so he's averaging over 10 here. Cashed this over 9.5 in 3 of the 4 games that they played. FanDuel has this at -102, so I do kind of like this on the sports book today, as well as over on the Sleeper app if you're looking to take it over there. Desmond Bane, the last one in this game that I'm looking at for over-unders, 20.5 is his point total. I like the over in that one. Let's see here. The last 2 games, his field goals have been up. And with his field goals being up in the last 2 games, he's been able to clear 20 points easily. I think he had 30 in the 30-something in the one game. Then I think he had 23 in the other game as well. So you could get this at -110 to -115 on most sites out there. -110 on DraftKings is where I saw it. I do also like it on the Sleeper app, but I like the Ja assist and the Cat rebounds and even the Patrick Beverley points more than the Desmond Bane over on Sleeper. One last interesting thing I want to talk about here, and that is the series prices right now. Memphis is -300 to win the series. Minnesota is +230. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me with this series being tied up at 2-2 here. I respect Memphis. I think Memphis is the better team, but -300 means Memphis is 75% likely to win the series, and Minnesota's only 20, like 25 or 30. I don't necessarily think I agree with that here. I think the better value here is taking Minnesota at +230. And the reason why is if Minnesota does happen to win this game, I mean, we're basically down to a 3-game series with this being tied, right? So if Minnesota wins this series, you're now sitting on Minnesota having to win one of the last 2 games at +230, and you're going to be able to get Memphis probably at plus money at that point. So you could even hedge it to make sure you guarantee yourself a profit one way or another. If Minnesota does lose this game here, they go back to Minnesota for a game 6, where I feel confident Minnesota can win. And then it would come back to Memphis for a game 7 here, and you'd be sitting on Minnesota at +230 to win in a game 7, which would probably be higher than you would get on the money line for any one individual game. Like even this game right now, you can't get higher than like a 215 out there, +215 in the market on Minnesota. So really, if you had 230 that you were sitting on, you're probably going to have a better number on Minnesota going into that game 7 if it gets to there than you would anyway. Then you would be able to get on them if you wanted to take it on that day anyway. So I like Minnesota at +230 here as a series price. I do still lean to Memphis winning the series. And you might be like, well, if you think Memphis is going to win the series, why would you bet Minnesota? Because I think it's all about the price, right? Like if Memphis was even money to win the series, I would be backing up the truck and putting the money on Memphis. At -300, though, that price is way too high. And that means to me that the value is on the Minnesota side. So that's where I would be betting if I was going to be putting down a series bet on this series at this point in time. So there you go. Let's go to the last game now. That's the New Orleans Pelicans taking on the Phoenix Suns. No Zion Williams for the Pelicans. Surprise, surprise, he hasn't played all year. The big news, though, on the Phoenix side is no Devin Booker. So Devin Booker being out is something that Phoenix has not been all that great with on the year. I think they're 9-7 on the year without Devin Booker. So basically a 500 team without him. Let's see. This opened at +7. It's down to +6 in a lot of spots right now, or -7, -6, depending which side you look at it. But that's actually part of the reason why I'm still interested in the New Orleans Pelicans here. I would rather be on the Pelican side at +6.5, a number you can get at BetMGM, PointsBet, Caesars, Unibet, Sugar House, Bet Rivers, and WinBet right now. That to me is the best way to play this game here. I would rather be on that side than on the Phoenix side where I'm laying 6.5 points. FanDuel actually has Phoenix all the way down to -6 at -110 right now. So if you wanted to make a standard juice bet, You can get Phoenix at -6 over on FanDuel at -110. That is the best price to play the Phoenix Suns. The over-under in this game is 215, pretty much across the board and pretty much at standard 110 juice on both sides for every one of the books that I'm looking at here right now. So I don't have a lean to the over or the under in this game, but 215.5 at -110 is the number you can get everywhere if you're interested in going out there and playing it. As for some of the over-unders in this game, there were two that I'm looking at here. Without Devin Booker, Phoenix needs more scoring, and the guy that I think is going to provide it is going to be DeAndre Ayton. Over 20.5 is his number on the sleeper app today, also his number on the sports books. He had 23 plus in each of the last two games with no Booker in there. In the first two games, he only took 6, and he took an average of 10 field goals per game in the first two games. He's taken an average of 17 field goals per game in the last two games. So this is definitely a number that I think that DeAndre Ayton can get over. I think he's going to be a big part of the offense today, just like he was the last two games with Booker out here. So over 20.5 for Ayton is a number I like. Definitely going to be taking that, not only on the props in the sports books, but also over on Sleeper. And then the other one I like is Jonas Valanciunas over 12.5 rebounds. This has been a monster rebounding series for him. He's averaging 16 rebounds per game right now. He's gone over the 12.5 number in 3 of the 4 games. The one game he missed, he still had 11 rebounds in that game, so he was right there with the chance to cash it. His floor has been 11 rebounds here. He's have a high of 25 rebounds, 13 and 15 in the other 2 games. I mean, this guy is just cleaning the glass like it's nobody's business right now. So Jonas Valanciunas over 12.5 rebounds, another one I like on the sleeper app. And like I said, I would even be taking this on some of the sports books now. Last thing to talk about here, the series price. Phoenix -275, New Orleans +230. This is the way I'm looking at it. I like Minnesota +230. I like New Orleans +230 because in my mind, you only need one of the two to win. And you don't even need them to win the whole series. You just need one of those two to win today. Because if one of those two wins today, you're going to be getting plus money on the other side as well. And then this way you can kind of, hedge your bet or look for some other ways to, kind of enhance it. Use some of these, profit boosts and bonuses that, all these sports books are offering right now. And remember, if you're looking to take advantage of some of those, get over to ftnbets.com/sportsbooks. We have all the best deposit bonuses for all the books in the United States. And if you happen to be in Canada, it's ftnbets/sportsbooks, ftnbets.com/sportsbooks/Canada. We'll get you all the books that are available in Canada. My friends up in Ontario, who recently just got sports betting legalized on, single event sports up there. So congratulations to you guys. And if there's anybody else up there who hasn't gotten in on it yet, make sure you get over to there and you can check it out as well. But yeah, that's basically it. That's going to sum it up for our NBA action. I will do one more thing here for you guys. We did it yesterday. A couple people sent me some messages about it. So we're going to do it again today here. We're going to give you our sleeper play of the day. So remember, you can get over to the sleeper app, go down into the description. You'll see the way to click on it to get into the over-under game. You use promo code FTN Bets when you deposit. You deposit up to $100. They will give you a full match on your deposit up to $100, basically doubling the amount of money you have to play out there. What I like to do is I don't like going for these home run swings where we're trying to pick 5 overs or 5 unders. I like to keep it straight, especially when I'm playing with bonus money, and just go for 2. So the 2 that I like the most here today are going to be DeAndre Hunter over 14.5 points and Jonas Valanciunas over 12.5 rebounds. If you play those 2 here today over on the sleeper app, I think you got a really good chance to win your money. Remember, you put in $100, they'll match it, giving you $200. You bet that $200 on something like this, where you take 2 different over-unders, you hit on both of them, you get a payout of 3-1. You turn the $100 that you deposited into $600. That gives you a plus 500 payout on this. You're not going to find a better payout than that. You take those 2 things and try to parlay them together on the sports book. You're going to get like a plus 230, plus 220 kind of payout here. The plus 500 that you can get over on the sleeper app, by far much better than you're going to get over there. So definitely make sure you guys get over there and check it out. And now we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back with more on the FTN Bets Cast. Welcome back, everybody, to the FTN Bets Cast for Tuesday, April 26th here at FTN Bets. We talked about NBA in the opening. We talked a little bit about our sponsor here at Sleeper HQ. Now we're going to talk a little bit of MLB action for the second part of the show here. Massive slate of MLB games, most of them taking place tonight as well. I don't think we have, let me double check on this before I say that. Yeah, I don't think we have any games that are starting before 6:30 today. So no afternoon baseball today. There will be a lot of baseball tonight. So let's get into some of these matchups that we have here. Milwaukee Brewers against the Pittsburgh Pirates. First start here today at 6:35. Brandon Woodruff on the mound against Keller. Woodruff, big favorite here, minus 175, all the way down to minus 165 on PointsBet is the best price we can get there for the Milwaukee Brewers. I do like the Brewers. I am willing to bet against the Pittsburgh Pirates pretty much every game that they're going to play all season this year. So minus 165 actually feels a little bit low for me. I was expecting this to be more in the 180 range. So minus 165, I think there's a little bit of value there on PointsBet. I wouldn't chase it onto like, the minus 170, minus 175s, but minus 165 on PointsBet, I do think we have some value there. I like the Brewers side. If you want to play the Pirates, best price you can get on them, plus 150. DraftKings and Caesars have the Pirates there. Next game up is going to be the San Diego Padres visiting the Cincinnati Reds. We got Joe Musgrove on the mound for the Padres, San Martin on the mound for Cincinnati. Listen, he has not been good this year, and that is probably why the San Diego Padres are such a big favorite here. Let's see, Musgrove, minus 185, minus 180. Oh, all the way down to minus 165 on DraftKings. Best price you can find on the visiting road favorite San Diego Padres here today with Joe Musgrove on the mound. For Cincinnati, you're getting them at like a plus 145 to plus 150 range, plus 155 on Caesars. Best price for the Cincinnati Reds if you're looking to play them here today. Next game up, Seattle Mariners and the Tampa Bay Rays. We got Gilbert going up against Whistler in this one. Tampa Bay is a slight favorite at home here today. Minus 130 down to minus 124 on Unibet, minus 124 on Unibet and Sugar House, minus 124 on Unibet and Sugar House. Best price we can get for the Tampa Bay Rays here today. Seattle Mariners, plus 110 is the best price we can get for them. DraftKings, FanDuel, BetMGM, PointsBet, Caesars, all have it at that plus 110 if you're interested in getting money down on the Seattle Mariners side. Colorado Rockies, Philadelphia Phillies, Herman Marquez going up against Zach Eflin in this one. Neither one of these guys has been all that great. A couple ERAs that are floating around 5 here to start the year. Phillies are a big favorite here. You can get them as low as minus 160 on BetMGM and PointsBet. If you're interested in the Rockies side of this game, plus 145 on DraftKings, best price we can get for the Colorado Rockies. I would rather be on the Phillies side of this game, but minus 160 is the number that's a little rich for me, so probably going to be staying away from this one. Next up, my New York Yankees taking on the Baltimore Orioles. Yankees are 10-6. Orioles are 6-10. You got Lyles going up against Severino in this matchup here. Severino is a massive favorite here. Do I think he wins the game? Absolutely. Will I bet on him at minus 300? No, I'm not going to. See if we can find a little better number. Caesars has it at minus 278. Probably still a little too rich for my blood here. DraftKings, best price on the Baltimore Orioles side, plus 245. I mean, listen, I think Severino is very likely to pitch well, and the Yankees are likely to win this game here. But, man, it's just such a big number to lay, minus 278. Like, I'm not trying to win 33 cents on a dollar here today. It just doesn't make any sense to me to do that. So I'm staying away from this game here. Next one up, the Miami Marlins and the Washington Nationals. The Marlins at 7-8 actually have more wins and a better record, a better winning percentage than the Nationals do here. Sandy Alcantara on the mound for them, going up against Gray on the other side for the Nationals. Alcantara is a road favorite here, minus 130, minus 120, minus 124 on FanDuel. FanDuel going right under those minus 125s to get up top here. FanDuel minus 124, the best number you could find on the Miami Marlins and Sandy Alcantara. Again, I do kind of like that side of this game more, but I don't know. It's not really a great price. I was hoping it was going to be closer to like minus 110 here. If you want to bet the Nationals, Unibet has the best price on them, plus 112. You could also get that at Bet Rivers as well, plus 112. Everywhere else, though, it's like plus 110. A couple plus 108s, plus 105. So you're not giving up that many basis points. But the best prices on Unibet and Bet Rivers at plus 112. Next up is the Boston Red Sox against the Toronto Blue Jays. Pretty good matchup here. You got Gaussman going up against Nick Pivetta. Let's see here. We got the Blue Jays as a massive. Wow, that's a bigger favorite than I thought they'd be here today. I know Pavetta's been bad, but minus 180 for the Toronto Blue Jays at home as a favorite. Best price Caesars is where you can find that. I mean, they're as high as minus 190, minus 195 on the other site. So that minus 180 actually is a little bit of a discount here based on, what we're seeing in the rest of the market. If you want to be on the Red Sox side, plus 165 at DraftKings, I do not want to back Pivetta here. So I would not go there. But, I mean, I honestly do think there is a little bit of value on the Red Sox side. I feel like that minus 190s are just – that's a little too high for this game. The plus 165 on DraftKings, by far the best price, plus 155s, a couple plus 160s out there. If I had to pick a side right now, I think I would rather be on the Red Sox side, but this is not something I would be willing to put a lot of money on here today. Let's see. Next game up, Kansas City Royals and the Chicago White Sox. We got Lynch versus Kykel in this one. Kykel, pretty big favorite here, minus 150 on BetMGM is the best place we could find this number if you want to be on the White Sox side of it. The Royals, you can get as high as, let's see, plus 125, all the way up to plus 140. DraftKings and Caesars has them at plus 140 today on the Kansas City Royals if you want to be on, on that side of the game. You guys know I'm a big fan of the Chicago White Sox this year. They have not had a very good start. They're 6-9 to start. The Royals are 5-9 at the start of this season. I think the White Sox win this game, but I'm not willing to put any money on it. Chicago Cubs and the Atlanta Braves, the next game that's up here. Stroman against Max Fried. Let's see. Max Fried looking a lot better. Minus 165 favorite is the lowest price there. You can get that on DraftKings on the Atlanta side. I do like Max Fried. I just think that's a big number. It's minus 175, minus 180 in a bunch of other places. A couple minus 170s like 69, minus 167 around there. So minus 165 DraftKings is the best price. I just think it's a little too rich. Not rich enough that I want to bet on Chicago Cubs, but rich enough that I'm not going to be putting money on the Atlanta Braves, who I do think win this game. If you want to go and put some money on the Chicago Cubs, you can get them as high as plus 150. Both FanDuel and Caesars have them at that number here today. Next game up, Detroit Tigers, Minnesota Twins. Let's see. We got Rodriguez going up against Paddock here. Paddock, I think, is somebody who should be a bigger favorite than he is. He's minus 135 on PointsBet and Caesars. That is the best number. I like that number. I would take it. I thought this number should have been more in the minus 155 to minus 160 range. So we got about 20, 25 basis points worth of value here. So I do really like the Minnesota Twins here today with Paddock on the mound. Detroit Tigers, if you want to play Detroit on that side, I mean, you're seeing some plus 110, some plus 115s. The plus 120 on DraftKings and FanDuel is the highest number we can find here for the Detroit Tigers. Again, I am on the Minnesota side of this game, so I don't think there's any value there in Detroit. But if you are willing to play it, DraftKings, FanDuel, plus 120, best place to get money down on that one. New York Mets, St. Louis Cardinals. Much different pitching matchup today than we had yesterday. Chris Bassett on the mound, who's actually been pretty good for the Mets to start the season. Going up against Hicks for the Cardinals here, who has also been pretty good for the Cardinals there. Let's see. The Mets are favored in this game. Minus 120 is kind of the standard number in the market. Minus 116 on FanDuel, best price we can find out there if you're looking to get money on the road favorite New York Mets. If you want to bet on the home dog, St. Louis Cardinals, even money is the best price I see here. There's a couple places where this is below even money. But DraftKings, PointsBet, Caesars, Unibet, MGM, Bet Rivers, Sugar House all have this game at even money on the St. Louis Cardinals. I got to be honest, I don't have a lean in this game one way or the other here today. I liked Scherzer yesterday. We cashed on that one. It wasn't a very good price, but we cashed on it anyway. It was a better price than some of the other games that I didn't want to play, so I was happy about that. But at the end of the day, I just don't see any value in this one, so we'll skip this. Next game up is going to be the Houston Astros and the Texas Rangers. Jake Odorizzi on the mound for the Astros. Not sure who's pitching for Texas. I'm seeing two different names here. I think it might be Hearn on the one site I'm looking at, but there was another name on another site that I was looking at. So definitely make sure you check that out. Listen, neither one of these guys has been all that good this year, which is why this game is probably basically a coin flip. You can get it at minus 110, minus 110 on a lot of sites. FanDuel, minus 108, minus 108 on both sides of this game. Houston Astros, minus 108. That's the best price you can find them at. You can actually find a minus 105 on Texas over at BetMGM if you wanted to play them over there. We have 3 games left to talk about here. The Cleveland Guardians taking on the Los Angeles Angels is the next one up. McKenzie versus Sandoval is the pitching matchup in that game. Let's see here. Cleveland is pretty much across the board a plus 140 road dog in this game. And that makes the Angels pretty much across the board like a minus 160 to minus 165 favorite. DraftKings has the best price on the Angels at minus 160. I would not bet on the Cleveland Guardians here. I don't really even like the minus 160 on the Angels. I think this is another game where I just as easily avoid it and not put any of my hard-earned money out on this one here. I do think the Angels win. I think minus 160 is a fair to maybe even, slightly expensive price. Just not a lot of value in this one. Next game up, Los Angeles Dodgers, Arizona Diamondbacks. The Dodgers road favorites around minus 200. You can get them cheapest price, minus 195. Unibet, Bet Rivers, Sugar House there. Gonsolin on the mound for them going up against Davies for the Arizona Diamondbacks. If you wanted to play the Diamondbacks, the best price, plus 180 on Caesars. They're basically plus 165 to plus 175 everywhere else. Caesars does have the best price, though, at plus 180. And that brings us to our last game of the day, which is going to be the Oakland Athletics taking on the San Francisco Giants. We got Jeffries versus Rodon as the pitching matchup here. 2 guys that have been very, very good in the early start of the season. Let's see. Rodon is the massive favorite in this game, though. Minus 250, minus 270, minus 275. So the best price is minus 250. You can get that on Bet Rivers Sugar House right now, although everywhere else it's at least minus 270, minus 275. So I don't know how long that number is going to stay. So if you're interested in getting some money on the San Francisco Giants today, I suggest you get the Bet Rivers ASAP because I have a feeling that number is going to come up and catch up with basically every other legal book in the market. As for the Oakland Athletics, they are a plus 230 underdog on the road if you want to bet on them. Caesars is the best price there. Everywhere else is plus 220, plus 225. So you could save, get a few extra basis points going to Caesars if you want to play the Oakland Athletics. Again, I kind of agree that San Francisco should be a big favorite here. I just think that number is a little too big. I actually think they overshot already on this number. So if anything, I would want to be on that plus 230 on the Oakland side. But, man, it would be like a little sprinkle. It's not something that I'm looking to put a lot of money down on. So there you go. That wraps it up for today's MLB slate here at the FTN Bets Cast. Remember, you could get over to FTN Bets and get all the information, all the charts, all the graphs, all the breakdowns, all the picks, all the analysis from all of our experts, not only in MLB and NBA, but also NHL, MMA, PGA, every other sport that we're offering. We'll be NFL draft stuff going up this week for the NFL draft that's coming up on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday of this weekend here. We have, if there's something to bet on, if there's something you guys are interested in, there's a good chance that one of our experts has something up there. So get over to FTN Bets. Here's a little trick. You use promo code Benny. You can save 20% off on any package, whether it's the monthly package, the yearly package, whatever you're signing up for here. And that promo code Benny also works on FTN Daily and FTN Fantasy if you want to get over there and try those out as well. So for Benny Ricciardi, signing off for the FTN Bets Cast here at FTN Bets, sponsored by our good friends at Sleeper HQ. Good luck today, everybody.
Live from the new sports betting capital of the world.
You might be from Texas, but I'm from New Jersey.